She's conservative and I'm liberal, and yet we've been friends for almost 40 years. Everyone says you shouldn't discuss politics, religion, or money. And we say that's exactly what friends should be talking about. Join us as we tackle the conversations you're having in your head, but are too scared to say out loud. Welcome to We've Got to Talk, Miss Jolene.
Welcome. Well, thanks for having me, Nicole.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. I couldn't do this thing without you, my friend.
This is a good one. I'm excited about this one.
Wow. Okay, why don't you tell the lovely listeners and viewers what we're talking about today?
We are talking about the big, beautiful ballroom at the White House and other things.
And other things, like the changes in the timeline on the White House website, the history of the changes of the White House, and other things.
So President Trump has already begun demolition on the east wing of the White House to build the, as he's calling it, the big, beautiful ballroom. So currently, the space they have in the east, I don't even know they call it a ballroom, the east room, east wing of the White House, they have a meeting area that they have some functions, but it only seats 200 people. Mm-hmm. So anything bigger than 200 people, so think state dinners and events, whatever that might be, they either have to rent out other space around D.C., but most of the time they use tents and have it as an outdoor setting. Obviously, that's limiting in the winter. I'm sure they have heaters and they're, fancy tents and all that. But this new ballroom then will allow 650 people to sit and make it an opulent ballroom for the White House. Mm-hmm. And
yes,
it is all done by private donations, not taxpayer money. So any of the pushback from people saying, is this really a time when we're, cutting budgets and government's in a shutdown and people aren't getting paid? Is this really the right time to be building the big, beautiful ballroom? And Trump said, nope, it's all private donations, so it's okay. It will not impact the taxpayer.
So the original price was $250 million, and now they're saying it's $300 million. We have the same information that it is privately funded. He just released the donor list last Friday, which I will put in the show notes. This woman who is his national finance director, her name is Meredith O'Rourke. She raised the money. It goes into a 501c for tax exemption, and they were able to find a workaround. There was a loophole in the 1966 National Historic Preservation Act where parts of the White House are exempt and changes can be made. Jolene, how do you feel about this project, number one? And is how you feel about it similar to how conservative media is highlighting it? I'm curious your thoughts, and we'll start with that and then go forward.
It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal that he wants to undergo such a huge project for the White House. But it's been pointed out in all of the I think conservative media or even the mainstream media that many presidents have done renovations to the White House in some way. In the 1948, Truman did a complete overhaul. In modern time, Obama put in a basketball court because that served him.
There's always been pushback. It's never been private money, but there's always been pushback. People in general, I found this interesting to me because the Jefferson put in the colonnades and people criticized it for being too aristocratic. Andrew Jackson's portico, there were complaints that he was spending money during an economic downturn. Teddy Roosevelt's 1902 West Wing, complaints of expense. FDR added the East Wing and a pool, and they got partisan pushback. And then Truman's interior wall renovation got pushback. And how it struck me that people don't like change in general, right? So that this, to me is more of what it symbolizes than what it actually is.
And I think I heard it, and I'm not sure if it was the podcast that you had sent me, the Daily's podcast.
Oh yes, yes.
On this,
yes.
But I've heard it. I've actually heard it several places now. I think even Bill Maher talked about it, and several other places. But the fact that it is going to live beyond his 4 years in the White House, these 4 years, 8 years total, that he's leaving this legacy of the big, beautiful ballroom that won't be demolished ever, probably in our lifetime. And so it's like his symbol, the thing that he did, will be there forever. So those people are like, who don't like Trump, they're going to have this reminder.
Absolutely. I mean, the people that are saying that it's illegal, it's not. It's not illegal. We can hate it. We liberals can hate it. We can feel, that it's the people's house, and don't we get a say? And here is another situation where Congress is not stepping in, right? It's just another reminder that we as liberals and as Democrats are like, can't anybody push back on this guy? And he is so opulent. And I'll only speak for me. I don't care for his taste. I don't like all the gold. It's not my jam. And I think a lot of people are just like, like, really? Like you're saying, like, I found the Daily fascinating in that way. It was like, of course. It's like another slap in the face. Like, we're never going to get rid of this guy. Like, he's just putting his mark on it. I agree with you in some ways, Jolene, that because since I did some research and realized that all presidents got pushed back no matter what party they were in, that it made me think of like human nature hates change, and this makes sense. But this just seems so extra because everyone's so tired and frustrated that this guy is just coming in. And what do you think about the private funding? What do you think of? Did you look at this donor list? Because I did.
No, I heard them talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Of, who they are. A lot of corporations.
Yes.
And then some private people as well. I think that the argument is it a quid pro quo here, that they're going to get something for giving to the ballroom. And I mean, you and I have talked about this in so many different regards, that this is the way Washington works.
Yes.
And I mean, it happens on both sides of the aisle.
Yes.
And the people with the money are the people with the power. And if we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. So, and if they weren't giving money for the big, beautiful ballroom, they'd be giving it for something else to curry favor with Trump. So I see it as a benefit that we as taxpayers aren't having to pay for this $300 million opulent ballroom, that if he's got buddies that are going to pay for it, okay, great.
I mean, it's interesting because I think before the podcast, before we did this, either I was naive or I just didn't think about it. I didn't understand how much behind the scenes, like, glad handing there is. I just didn't really think it worked that way, which is kind of naive, I suppose. And the fact that he put out the donor list, which I'll just throw a few out, just Apple, Google, Microsoft, the CEO of Blackstone, Palantir. And Palantir was a huge donor for his birthday party / army parade. Brought to you by Palantir.
First down.
First down. Meta, Lockheed Martin. And then you might have heard this on the Daily podcast. Oh, and we'll put the Daily podcast in the show notes. I thought it was like, this explains this a lot better than I'm really understanding, because there's so much feeling. I'm going to be kind about it, feeling around it, that it's hard to know what's true and what's not true. But the reporter was like, who were Pepe and Amelia Fanjul? And so I looked them up, and they are Florida wealthy Republicans. They have the FanDuel Corporation. Amelia, they were born very wealthy, born in Cuba, and were socialites in Cuba, and then left, in the 50s or 60s, something like that, when people were leaving. And she, Amelia FanDuel, is already on the Kennedy Center Honors Board. And they have given tons and tons and tons of money to pro-Trump PACs. So interestingly, how you said, well, at least it's not public money, that normally we don't, as Americans, aren't privy to who's giving money to what and to whom. And here is a list that we will put in the show notes of every single person and corporation that is giving money to this ballroom, whether you like it or don't. You can look up these people and figure out who they are. And if you want to protest them or not give money to their company or whatever, I don't know, maybe again, this could be very naive, that it's full disclosure, that we know who is giving. They don't tell you how much they're giving.
Here's the other way to look at this, because I think just from a safety standpoint, and obviously with all of the craziness that's going on in the world right now, having an outdoor event with tents, and I understand it would be on White House grounds, but just the security and the logistics of that, I would think that everybody would be behind this if it weren't Trump. Like if it was just like, if Congress would have said, hey, we're doing this thing and here's why. We can only get 200 people and we have to rent these tents, and if it's in the winter and blah, blah, blah. I think from a logical standpoint, people would go, that's probably something we need to have. And then if they knew that we didn't have to pay for it and it was completely privately funded, everybody would go, well, hell, it's a win-win. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree, because it made me think. Delta for a while had a bunch of Jimmy Carter documentaries on the plane. And it was right when he was about to turn 100. Some beautiful documentaries. And I learned more about him because I was a kid. We were kids when he was the president. And he did some good things and some bad things, like most presidents. And one thing that I thought was interesting was that he was a huge proponent of solar. And he put solar panels on the White House, which I had no idea. And as soon as Reagan was, like, day one, when Reagan moved in, he's like, take those panels down. So it's
really?
Like, which makes me, it's like everyone has their mark. They move in and they want to make their mark. Like this is, and I would agree with you, Jolene, that it's funny now that you talked about this Trump derangement syndrome, I'm hearing about it every day, which I never really did.
Wait, seriously?
I'm hearing about it every day.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew about it, but I just didn't. And now I hear about it every single day. And it makes me think that, this is really emotional for I would just say liberals and Democrats, maybe some Republicans too. I can't imagine that everybody's totally psyched about it. But it's that kind of thing that he's been doing from moment one of Trump's second term, which is just the sort of the steamrolling. They throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, and then they pivot, like so that Americans can't like focus on one thing and fight about it because 5,000 things happen all at the same time, right? And so I do think some people just don't like his taste and they don't like him and they're pissed that he's putting his mark on it. And I think it's like, hey, slow down. And he just goes. Like he's had no permits. Like he's just doing it, which people don't like change in the first place. Yeah. Let's just start there, okay? And then you have half of the people in this country that are so angry at this president. And when he goes and steamrolls, people feel disregarded. They feel unseen. They feel unheard. They're frustrated that he seems to get away with everything, whether you like him or not. I think this is an incredibly emotional topic. And there are other things. It's funny that in a way that we're doing this topic today because it is a hot topic, and yet so many other things in the world are so much more important than this.
Yeah,
and the
right.
other thing that we're going to talk about, which has to do with it's part of the construction process, but it's the change of the White House website, which we'll get into in a second. But like as this was happening, I saw a friend of mine post on her Instagram stories that like while you're all freaking out about the White House wing, all these major things have happened in Alaska where they're approving a construction in indigenous land, and I can't speak to it, but like lots of environmental things that people, I'm not going to say the left. I'm going to say people that are really environmentally,
Yeah.
that's important conscious. That's important to them.
Yeah.
They're very upset about, and no one is putting their focus on it because we're so pissed off about the East Wing.
But we've said, and haven't we said that
Demolition.
before?
Yes.
That he does this, that he has something that's going on over here and everybody gets outraged about it. But he's got 5 other things happening over here and you're all getting sidetracked because you're looking at the shiny object instead of all the other things that are happening.
That's
I think
right. That's right.
I mean, that is exactly what he does. But I think the bottom line is it's the permanency
Yes.
of this building
I would
that
agree with
people
you.
are absolutely up in arms
I would agree
about.
with you. I don't know if Steve Bannon came up with this term muzzle velocity, but when Gavin Newsom interviewed Steve Bannon, which I think was the 3rd episode, which I was like, I can't believe I'm listening to Steve Bannon, but he was talking about this term muzzle velocity, and it was absolutely on purpose. It's part of their strategy to just have us like follow the red dot, like I don't, just gerbils. Like that's I don't know, gerbil, but something.
I don't know if it's a
a
gerbil.
gerbil,
Yeah.
hamster, whoever follows red dots, and
Cats. I think it's kitty cats.
Yeah, and so as you and I, we recorded Thursday, and we were like, okay, what are we going to do Sunday? And Josh had sent a couple ideas, and one was the East Wing demolition. So then at that Thursday night, I'm like in the side, like the room next to Josh and Jax, and I hear Josh go, "What?" And he's laughing, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Come here." And Jackson had showed us. It's whitehouse.gov, and we'll put this in the show notes for you audio files that we love and adore that are listening to us on Apple and Spotify. But if you're watching on the YouTube, we're going to actually show you. So Jackson told us about this new update to the White House website. And I'm looking at this, and it seems very, mundane. It says major timeline events. You scroll down half the page and it's showing you the construction history of the White House, and talks about the design plans commence from 1791 to 1800, the rebuilding after the War of 1812, the addition to the South Portico in 1824, another addition to the North Portico, addition of the West Wing, addition of the Oval Office, addition of the Rose Garden, addition of the East Wing, the total reconstruction, that was the Harry Truman interior wall situation, the addition of the briefing room in the early 70s, and then 1998, the Bill Clinton scandal.
And it's a picture. Of him
and Monica
Lewinsky in the Oval Office.
In 2012, it says, Muslim Brotherhood visit. And we'll explain these pictures in a second. Of Obama with a man. And if you look at this picture, Obama looks really young.
And Obama's got a turban on his head.
And then this tennis pavilion, okay, fine.
Was Melania's.
I have seen this picture of Hunter Biden because you are so obsessed with Hunter Biden that now I do research on Hunter Biden. And this is one of his cocaine stupors. He was not in the White House. And then...
well, we don't know.
No, we do. And then this is a picture of a trans woman who's naked.
Holding her breasts. Her naked breasts. In front of the White House.
Next to Biden. Now, to clarify, everybody... Do we even need to say what the picture is of Clinton and poor Monica Lewinsky, who's 23 years old? No. I'm like, enough. That poor girl. Okay. And maybe we'll also, I put in the show notes, Susan, one of our viewers who always gives us tons of ideas, she sent that Instagram saying, have you seen this? I'm like, oh, we're already going to talk about it.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. So this political person that is on Instagram, I'm spacing out on her name, she explained that that picture of President Obama, it was taken in 2006, not 2012. It was when he was a senator, and he was going to his father's home country to visit for the first time, and that was an elder from his father's village who has no ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. So there's that. And then the trans model definitely did take her top off at the Pride event at Biden's White House, and after that, she was banned from the White House.
You don't say.
And that there is absolutely no evidence that Hunter Biden was in that tub high as a kite in the White House. First of all, he's a grown-ass man. He didn't live there. I mean,
except they did find the bag of cocaine in the White House, and there are several indications that it may have been his.
Okay. Maybe that's true. But what does that have to do with the construction or the reconstruction of the White House? I was like, Jolene, I feel like you've raised children. What age are these people doing this to the website? Are they 8?
Maybe
9?
Maybe Trump needs to
10?
be put in timeout. I'm going to take your phone away. I'm going to take your phone away for 2 days.
How many? No.
Because
all
of your
these
behavior.
people near their phone taken away for like a month. What is this?
It is absolutely so unpresidential. Like, it's just so immature and so absolutely. My friend from Sweden, is she going to look at this and go, what in the hell is going on in your country? How has it been acceptable to take the highest office in the land and make a joke out of it? Now, with all that being said, the point of it, and this was something that I heard on Fox News on Friday night. And remember, the people who are on Fox News at night are not journalists. They are strictly for entertainment
you
purposes.
usually don't watch on Friday night.
And I don't.
Nights.
That's exactly right. Had it on in my car when I got in the car, and I was driving out and had it on, and so I was listening until I finally went, oh no, I gotta listen to the highway. I mean, country music. Country music is the station.
Okay, got it.
I think it was the Laura Ingraham show.
Yeah. I remember her from my switching media sources.
Yes. Yeah.
She's a toughie.
Yeah. She's all Trump all the way. But whoever she was interviewing said, isn't this funny? Like, this is funny that liberals are so outraged at Trump building this new ballroom that we put something outrageous on the website, and now they can't believe that we did it. Isn't that funny? Like, we're showing how funny this outrage is, because it's false outrage. It is, what's the term? Like, displaced outrage.
So
it was a person she was interviewing.
Oh.
She was interviewing somebody.
But the person that's suggesting that is saying they changed the timeline to poke fun of the liberals being outraged? Because that sounds so spinny to me. Because it just feels very mean. And I agree with you, obviously, that this is the highest position in the land. And I want he tacked 10% more tariffs on the Canadians because he was upset by a television commercial that had Reagan speak that clearly they edited it the way they needed to, because that's how it works. It's how it works, everybody. But that he was so pissed that he was like, put some more tariffs on. And I'm just like, are you 3? I mean, how old is, seriously?
Yep. Right. I know. And that is the kind of stuff that absolutely drives me crazy. For all of the good things that he could do, and I know there's so many of you that are going to go, "What? I can't believe he said that. He doesn't do anything good." He does do some good things. It's too bad that it comes to like this tit for tat, you do something outrageous, we're going to do something outrageous. And the point is that every president has done something to make the White House their own, or to leave their mark, or to make it better, enhance it in some way, or update it, or whatever. And so by posting the Bill Clinton and the Obama and the Biden stuff on there, it was like, yeah, you want to know what they did to the White House? I mean, the Bill Clinton thing, like, that's funny. Really? You liberals are worried about what we're doing, building a ballroom, but do you know what he did to the Oval Office? I mean, I think that's the comparison they're trying to make here.
That's what Laura Ingraham and her guest are suggesting.
Yes.
I'm so tired of everybody being so mean and so gross. They're being so immature, so mean. And obviously, they just chose the Democratic presidents. They didn't put anything for Papa Bush and Baby Bush. We are better than this. I know we're better than this. I feel like this is truly why We've Got to Talk exists, what we hope to model. And sometimes, honestly, Jolene, it feels almost too big. I have moments where I am just so struck by how divided we are. We talked about the Facebook situation the last couple days where we had a graphic for our Freeing of the Hostages episode. And to be quite frank, when I first saw the graphic, I reacted too and suggested, hey, because it said Peace 2025 on it. And I said, emailed our media team and said, hey, can we change it to ceasefire or something? The word peace really rattled me. And Alex, who's our incredible, he does all our amazing art and animation, and we love him. And hi, Alex, shout out. But he was like, this is an official photo. And then I zoomed in and you could see, yes, indeed, it was an actual set piece in front of the table where Trump signed the deal with the Arab nations. I thought, okay, well, it's an official photo. And we were doing a rush job to get it out, jump the queue. And I thought, and with the time change, because they're in Brisbane, it was like, we don't have time to switch the art. And I posted that picture with a long explanation of what this episode is about. And no one reads anything. They just, the amount of hate, the amount of outrage, the amount of vitriol, I felt gut punched. It was like, there was this sense, Jolene, of, oh my God, how do we do this? What are we doing? I don't know if you ever feel this way, but it was this number one, a little bit of imposter syndrome, who are we to think that we can try and help? And then I would engage, and most of the time people were like, thank you for engaging. And they'd calm down. Some people were insistent on being mean. And there were times that I just thought, well, it must really be hard if that's how you're feeling. If you feel so compelled to scream at someone you don't know, and you're not wanting to be curious about it. And it made me feel, I was really wiped out that day. By the end, I felt a little bit more hopeful. And every time, Thursday we got on to record, and every time I see your face, I know that we're doing a good thing here. And I know that we aren't 3 years old, and we're not being mean to each other and posting petty shit on the government's website. Like, I'm just like, what planet are we on? I mean, the AI memes and he did some AI thing where he pooped on the cities, and Cuomo did a horrible thing to Mamdani the other day on Friday, and Mamdani came out of he had been at a mosque, like, community, he's still...
Is that when he met with the imam?
Maybe. He was, doing a campaign thing. And this horrible AI video came out that Cuomo claims he didn't know, but it has his name on it. And it's really mean. Like, it's so gross and mean. And Mamdani was crying.
Wow.
And I just thought, what are we doing? What are we doing? You might not agree with Mamdani. Yep. You might not agree with Cuomo. But what are we doing, everybody?
Well, and it's just, I mean, I would say from the other side, it is, the mourning of an assassination of Charlie Kirk, and the people that continue to say, call him a racist and that he deserved to die, and even the counter protests on campuses where they're having a turning point table, to advertise for this organization, and now the counter protests, or the protest for them having, asking for a chapter at that university, and you're like, you have never listened to Charlie Kirk, have you? I mean, or you've heard a snippet that someone has altered, and whether that's, AI, or if that's something that somebody has put together, that we're so triggered now to identify that anybody who thinks differently from me is the bad guy, and I must lash out. I must let them know that they're the bad guy, and I hate them. I hate them because they think differently from me. The point is, we've learned to hate each other because of who we voted for, or because of who we support.
And we're also in this way, Jolene, of like not just hating, but like correcting. That doesn't work. Just heads up, everyone. It doesn't work. If you want to ask someone, hey, why do you feel that way? I'm very curious about that. That's a very different conversation than posting, you're wrong. There was posts saying, this is horseshit. You are horseshit to us. Okay. And then saying what they needed to say. That doesn't really make me actually want to read that.
So it makes that person feel better about themselves because they saw someone that they can be angry at and direct their anger, and then they feel better because they've gotten that off their chest. What about going for a walk? And, how have we gotten so, well, we know the answer, that we've gotten so wrapped up in social media and tidbits of information constantly hitting us all day, that if you don't have any other outlet, if that is your outlet, if that is what you do on your downtime because you don't have a family, or you don't have friends that you hang out with, or you don't like to exercise, or you don't like sports, or you don't like to listen to music or watch a play, or go, all these other things other than looking at your phone and getting riled up, or looking at your computer and getting riled up because this is all you have.
Yeah.
Go do something else.
Yeah.
Go do something else, because I'm telling you, the well-adjusted people aren't spending a lot of time with politics. Politics is such a small portion of what our lives mean.
Absolutely. When you've lost someone, or you have sickness in your family or friends, or it gets real clear what's important. It's not podcasts, it's not politics, it's people, it's friendships, it's love.
Absolutely.
Right? So yesterday I was with my one of my closest friend from acting school, her daughter, Bella, shout out Bella. She's like a pretend niece to me, and I adore her.
Hey, Bella.
Hey, Bella. She used to go to NYU and now goes to Michigan, but she was visiting a friend. She's been here this weekend. And we met down near the World Trade Center Memorial. And I live about 5 minutes from there. And we're sitting in this beautiful park that is just above the pools. And she was saying, I've never been here before. And she wanted to know my experience. And I told her she didn't realize that I lived on First and First. And I was, at the time, there weren't big high-rises that are there now. And I was walking to a yoga class, and it was a gorgeous morning. And I saw the first plane, the American Airlines plane. It was very low, and it turned and aimed and hit Tower 1. And I remember I was in shock. There were a couple other people on the street. There was a woman. We didn't know each other, and we grabbed each other and held each other. And then people started to run out, and you could see how quickly miscommunication can happen or misinformation. It was like, oh, is that a little plane? And we're like, no, it's an American Airlines plane. Life goes on. So I tell her the story of living downtown and being quarantined and all the things, and we all ran to hospitals to donate blood, and the hospitals turned us away because there were no bodies. And you'd see these refrigerated trucks on Houston Street, hundreds of them, waiting for bodies. There were no bodies. And you'd go to Union Square, and there were these billboards with people would have all their pictures of their loved ones that were lost. And people would come, and you'd cry, and you'd grieve together. Then we went down. I said, would you like to go see the pools? And she said, yeah. And she said, would you ever be a tour guide? I said, absolutely not. I said, I was here. I said, when this memorial first opened, it was really upsetting because people would take selfies and they were laughing. And it's really like it was one of the worst days of the country's life. And a lot of us are still very much alive that lived through it. So we're walking to the pools, and she looked at me and she said, I don't think our generation could handle it. I don't think that they would react the way you all did. I don't think that we'd hug each other on the street. I think we'd just look at our phones. Which was so sad to me. But I also know how amazing she is, and I know how amazing Jax is, and I know how amazing my nieces are, and I know how amazing your daughters are. And I was like, but you would hug someone. I know you would. I know this is a very roundabout way to say that I do believe that there are more of us, and that's why this podcast is important.
I think you're right. And I also, unfortunately, think that it's going to take something catastrophic to get us back on track. Because, as you said, that was such a pivotal time in our country. We were all Americans on that day. We all wanted to believe in the flag and the national anthem, and there was such this idea of patriotism that we all collectively have been attacked. And
I even felt like, Jolene, that there was a sense, I don't know if you felt this way, but being there was a sense that the world, maybe just for one day, that the world was so sad for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was this sense
Absolutely.
of like, wait, it happened there? Yeah. That's the place things aren't supposed to happen.
Right.
Right? We are the country that people have looked up to. And I think, too, speaking of that, Jolene, I think also that's like all the erratic behavior, I think liberals and Democrats would feel like it's sort of a disregard, has felt like a sense of we're not that anymore.
We're not what?
We're not the place that people aspire to. When we act like petty Mean.
I would like to think that we are still, we're still the greatest country on earth. And even though we're in a tough time right now, we still have so many things to be proud of and so many opportunities. And this great experiment is still one of the greatest things that I think that we all should be proud of. And we're being tested. We're absolutely being tested on both sides. And it's sad. I hope that nothing catastrophic happens and we can get through this and get out of this and go, wow, what a crappy time that was.
That is my hope too, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Deep
Let's
breaths.
do a good for the soul.
Yes. You ready?
My good for the soul today is Ken Coleman, Coleman. We will have him in the show notes. He is a public speaker, public figure, and he had on his Instagram page this thing that I sent to Nicole about, just because you vote for someone, like if you were to start a conversation with, who did you vote for? And whatever answer that is, you've already determined in your mind things about that person. That they're liberal, they're conservative, they don't believe in this, they believe in that, blah, blah. You've already, you've ascertained in your mind a set of qualities that person has without knowing anything about them because of that one question. However, if you were to ask someone a question instead and find out what their answer is, and then ask them another question and another question and another question, soon you learn about that person. And I will tell you that happened to me, and I think we talked about this on a prior podcast, that I sat down on a plane and typically I put my headphones in. I don't want to talk to anybody. I've been busy doing whatever it is. I just want to get on a plane and I want to be in my own little world. But I hadn't gotten to my headphones quick enough. And this lady sits down next to me and we start, small chit chat. She sat down. She was a Black woman about my age. And she had a T-shirt on, like a camouflage T-shirt on. And it had something written on it, but I couldn't tell what was written on it. And she said something about her husband being in a couple rows back. And I said, oh, do you guys want to sit together? I would be happy to move. I could switch places with him. And she said, no. She's like, no, I'd rather just have you sit here. And we both laughed. I mean, it was like, that was funny. So we strike up this conversation then. So then I'm like, okay, now I'm intrigued. And so the preconceived notion that I had of who she was completely false. She was a Republican. She was extremely conservative, and she was military. She was ex-Army. She had a great story about the Army, and that she went into the Army as a 19-year-old, and how it changed her life, and she was a really, really lovely person that I completely enjoyed talking to, because she had so many great stories of her family and her upbringing and all this, and then married and her successful. She had 2 wildly successful daughters. But here is what happened. My very first question to her was, because then after I saw her T-shirt and it said something about Army on there, this was right after the Army parade.
Oh, okay.
250th birthday of the Army. And my question to her was, what did you think of the Army parade? By asking that question, I got that she was conservative, because she said, I love Trump. I love that he did this. I love da-da-da. Here's my experience, blah, blah, blah. Instead of asking who did she vote for, or I instantly got to know her because of the questions that I was asking her. And what a lesson that was for me to go, okay, I know who this person is sitting next to me. And I had no idea who she was.
But what I'm gathering is that you thought, oh, she's a Democrat, she's liberal, blah, 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 blah. Would you have enjoyed talking to her?
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing. I know that about you. You have a ton of liberal friends. You just really like people, which is one of the things I love about you.
Because I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to learn. We had, when Callie and I were in Chicago last week, we had an Uber driver who was taking us to a restaurant. And I said, are you from here? And he said, yep, grew up on the South Side. And I go, tell me about your city right now. And he went on to say, we've always had crime. Don't believe what they say in the media because there's no more crime now than there was when I was growing up. And I mean, and our Uber was like a 30-minute drive. So we got to hear all of his perspective. And it was completely different than what my perspective is of what's going on in Chicago. And I loved hearing that. So, I mean, you've got to be open to listening to people and hearing them and listening to what his perspective was because he grew up on the South Side as opposed to my friends who live downtown now and what their perspective is. Of course, it's two different perspectives.
Of course.
And gosh, and that's okay.
Yes.
And it's okay that they have completely two different perspectives of what their city is in their view of their city right now. Yep.
Absolutely.
And because they may be seeing the same thing, but it's different to them because of where they live, what they've grown up with,
yes,
what their experience, who their people are,
yes,
all that.
Exactly. Because we're all different. And all of the experiences we have make us who we are. Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
And that's what America is about. I mean, that is the beauty of America, is that we make it work.
Yes.
And we've stopped trying to make it work.
Yes.
And we've started trying to change it.
Yes. Sing it, sister.
I'm gonna sing it.
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
that's
what's
good.
your good for the soul?
So my good for the soul is real simple. I'm going to shout out to Monica Lewinsky's podcast, Reclaiming, because that poor woman has been through hell and high water. God bless her. And I think she started her podcast a couple weeks before we did. And it's great. It's great. She has conversations with, the first one was her talking about her story, and it was moving and sad and vulnerable and really ballsy. I was like, girl, good for you. And I've been listening to the Allison Janney one, who is she's an actor and she's currently on The Diplomat, which I love.
I love too.
Do you? Have you watched this new season?
Yes, we are. I think we're on episode 3 of the new season.
We are too. It's just like two girlfriends talking, but, asking questions and stuff. And I'm really happy for her. She's been through so much. And let's give her some love, because God knows she doesn't need this nonsense. So that's it. That's my good for the soul.
And how stupid were all of us when we were that age.
And the poor girl was the one that was demonized. I mean, that's a whole other story. Do you have a would you rather, my dear?
Yes.
All right. Would you rather labor under a hot sun or extreme cold?
So labor, work, not
yes, I felt like
be in labor. Not be in labor.
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking because of the construction of the White House.
Okay.
Of the ballroom. Would you like labor as in work, manual labor in the hot sun or extreme cold?
I might have to go with hot sun.
Okay.
Because trying to work in the cold, if you've got gloves on and all this,
I don't think you can wear gloves.
Sweaters and how are you? You'd have to have gloves on.
I guess.
You'd have frostbite. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with hot.
Okay. That's what I got.
What would you do?
Cold. The redhead in me, I get heat stroke. It's too much. I can't. It's too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a simple one, but there you go.
Yep.
Sometimes they're
Nope,
simple.
I love it.
Okay.
In the spirit of talking about the big, beautiful
Oh,
ballroom,
Jesus. All right.
would you rather get invited to the first White House ball or be the DJ for it?
Okay. Did you hear that in the Daily that Trump loves to DJ? That he DJs like oldies and what else did he say? Like, what were the songs? Gloria. Gloria, which it turns out is the St. Louis Blues, became a St. Louis Blues. When they went to the finals, I think they won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Gloria ended up being their song. They became superstitious, so they had to play it all the time. Okay, would I rather be the DJ or be invited? Absolutely the DJ. Hold on a second. Because now that we're doing this podcast, things have changed everything. Because maybe I would want to be invited to the ball to talk to all the people. And if I'm being the DJ, then I'm hiding behind the music and I can't talk to anyone. And this might be an opportunity to get in with all of the conservatives and talk to them and dance with them. And maybe
conservatives love to dance.
Do they really?
I don't know.
I know liberals do. But I don't know if I really want to dance to Gloria, but I guess I would. Because I'm guessing that if I'm invited to that ball, then Trump is the DJ. God bless.
I mean, you're dancing to YMCA.
I can't.
You're gonna go out there and do the YMCA.
You know I will. Listen, if we can get some if we can get some policies together, come on. I would do it. I would do it for the liberals.
So speaking of which, if you would like to be a sponsor for We've Got to Talk, this is your opportunity. If you like what we're saying and you like what we're doing and you like that what we're trying to do, we're trying to do.
We are trying.
Good things. We're really trying.
Really trying.
And you know what? You know what would help is if you subscribe.
Oh, yes.
And if you share,
click on that button.
Hit the subscribe button and hit share and share it with somebody and just say, you know what? I think you should listen to these gals. And then think about your life and think about what you have that do you own a business? Do you know somebody who owns a business? Do you work for a business that maybe would like to sponsor We've Got to Talk? We are looking for sponsors. Please go to our website if you are interested.
Yes, and our website is www.we'vegottotalk.com. Go to the contact page, put in your details, and we will get right back to you. And truly, thank you.
Like middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like the middle of the night, we will see it. And
well, it might be the middle of the night because it will be Australia. It'll go to Australia and then it'll bounce back to us.
We'll see it.
We will see
and
it.
We will answer it.
Yes.
We appreciate you all so much. Thank you for listening and for watching and for allowing us to come into your lives to share our thoughts. And we would love to hear yours. If you would please comment on our social media pages or get on our website, leave a comment. But make it a happy one. I mean, don't.
Or a question, if you have a question. Or we're also open if you have topics. We're open to would you rather questions.
Oh, give us your would you rather.
If you have a good for the soul that you like, please. This is a community and we really want to know you and we welcome all of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you. I'll see you on the flip.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We've Got to Talk is produced across the world by the wildly talented, creative, and hilarious team at Bambi Media. Our theme song is Jump Jive Swing by Space Train Unlimited. Thank you so much for listening, and join us every week for another episode of We've Got to Talk.